Hello, I'm Corelli. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube, and welcome to my Instagram account if you're watching on Instagram. And if you're watching on my YouTube channel, and if you like my content, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel, leave me comments, hit that bell notification, enable all notifications, because YouTube by default will not show you, will not suggest my videos. That's just how it is. Enable all notifications. And this time I'm painting work by the name of a mystery girl drowning in colors. I'm painting a friend of mine from St. Petersburg, Russia. And once again, I'm trying to retain the vibe that I sort of got into, the flow that I got into last time when I was being deliberately very loose, when I was using larger brushes. And generally speaking, I think that I enjoyed this approach a lot, using a large brush and sticking to a large brush for as long as I possibly can. Being very loose, being messy. Let it be messy. Let it be brushy. Let it be painterly. And in order for that to happen, like I said, I'm exaggerating a little bit. Maybe not a little bit. I am allowing myself to be messy. I'm allowing myself to overemphasize something. To make colors too bright, too saturated. Just let it be. To loosen all constraints. That's what I'm doing here. And yeah, changing brushes. Mixing in colors. It starts out pretty I'm starting out in a pretty desaturated way. There's mostly just, it's not black, by the way. It was a mixture of tallow blue, I believe, and lake red, dark reds, which gives me this almost black. It's not black, but it's an interesting kind of color that is almost black, but it's dark enough, and I like it. It's more interesting than just jet black from the tube, which I virtually never use at all, because it's kind of dead. I don't like that black color. Adding a little bit of it to tallow blue, or to lake red, or to burnt sienna, or to burnt umber, yeah, maybe. But to get this really interesting dark, almost black color, I like to mix tallow blue and lake red, or variations of reds, mixing that with ultramarine blue or with cobalt blue, and experimenting with red and blue, sometimes maybe tallow green, adding a little bit of that, depending on what kind of blacks, quote-unquote, I need. They're not completely black, that's the whole point. And I'm trying to maintain this. I remember I read somewhere that, or heard somewhere that it's really not a good idea to use pure black out of the tube. And ever since then, I'm like, no, I'm not using that one. I have a huge old tube of black, and I'm trying to, I don't even remember what black is it. Is it Mars black? I don't think it's Mars black. I think it's lamp black, most likely. And there's still a lot of that black in the tube. But anyways, I'm trying to retain that, that loose approach. My subject, the girl, she's kind of holding over her head a large bundle of yarn, which is very colorful, but I am reimagining this yarn into something else, and just letting things, just going with the flow, and feeling out what it might be like. And frankly, I like this approach a lot more, and I think I will lean into this approach. It's less realistic, and it's more It's more expressionistic, I think. It's more bordering abstract sometimes. I like this a lot more. I want things to get disjointed occasionally. I want things to be exaggerated. I want things to be expressive in a more symbolic, metaphorical way, in a more poetic way, I think. I think this summer I will have a blast with all the things that I want to paint, because I think I'm onto something. I think I'm discovering, I have this feeling like I'm about to make a breakthrough. I know where I'm going, I feel where I'm going, and I feel that I'm ready to abandon the ways, the approach that I was using a year ago, or even last fall. I liked where I was going last fall, but I think now in spring 2025, I feel that I'm onto something much bolder. I start to feel what I can do. And I like that direction. I know a lot of people liked my painting Sweet Like Rose Petals, which is the cover art for the single Cool Blue Shadows and Rosewater. And I like and don't like that painting. And I think the part that I don't like is because it's way too constricted. It's way too constrained. It's way too realistic. And I want to return to this subject matter. I want to paint this again, and I want to paint it otherwise, completely different. The stuff that I picture in my mind, the stuff that I really want to express is a lot more fluent. It's a lot more fractured and loose and it's a lot wilder than what is depicted there. Stuff that is depicted right now in that painting is very tame. It has to be very different. I will get there and this is why I'm allowing myself to have not one series of paintings attached to the Sun City album, to the Sun City story, but I will come back with new series of paintings about the same story. And every time that I'll be coming at it, I will be experimenting more and more, and I will try to depict the feeling and the subtleties of what I've actually experienced in that story. Therein lies the challenge, because realism doesn't solve it. The solution is not realism. The solution is beyond that. And it's a very fleeting thing that I'm looking for, but I have to find it. And I think that maybe all of my other works, everything that I'm painting right now, these portraits and some flowers or some landscapes or some horses that I'm already painting, they are all falling into that same path. It's all part of looking for that thing, that little holy grail that I'm looking for. I talked about this on my previous painting episode when I was talking about trying to get to that point where I have no barriers, where I lay down a stroke and it fully embodies exactly what I want to say. Just like when I sing nowadays, when I scream, I can have different takes. Or when I sing, I can have different takes because I'm trying out, do I want it this way or do I want it that way? Because I have options. Not because I don't know how to do it, or not because I have blocks. No, it's because I can do it this way or I can do it that way. I want to have that sort of freedom in painting. That's what I'm after. And because I want the Sun City story to be, perhaps deep down, I feel that this is one of the central themes, one of the central, most important bodies of work of my whole life up to this point. And it's really important to tell this story and to make it known, to tell it in writing, to tell it through a book, to tell it through music, to paint about this. I really feel that I have to master a lot of things in order to convey all of the things that I really want to say, to depict it, to show it. And that takes a lot of... It's quite a journey, That's what I'm saying. So all the other works that I'm doing, they're kind of in that same lane. They all lead up to it. Even though they explore different topics and they deal with different subject matters. But it's all somehow tied into this one big central story, which I feel somehow is integral to me, and it is somehow holds a profound... How do I say this even? It's somehow... It's like an archetype that manifested itself at some point in my life, and it is of such importance and it holds so much weight and so much gravity that the things that I'm doing nowadays revolve around this. This is the new center of gravity, and it's an important center of gravity in my life, and it's going to remain that way for a long time. I think this is where I want to wrap up this episode anyways. We're looking at the finished painting all of this time. It turned out to be a longer episode. Thank you very much for being with me, and you'll hear me next time. Ciao.